It's been called one of the greatest survival stories of our time. It's basically a modern-day Robinson Crusoe, but, on a planet 140 million miles away. Today, we're going to get right under the hood of The Martian, break down the incredible science that makes this story work, and figure out just how much of Mark Watney's journey is solid fact and how much is just fantastic fiction. Okay, let's get into it. No, really, just stop and think about that for a second. You wake up and you are the only living person on an entire planet. The silence is just absolute. The horizon is endless and red, and help is literally a world away. It's a complete nightmare scenario, right? But that's the very thing that makes this story so incredibly gripping. And this is our guy, Mark Watney. He's a botanist, he's an engineer, and he's part of the first manned mission to Mars. But then this freak storm hits. His crew has to make an emergency evacuation, and they're forced to leave him behind, believing he's dead. So now he's the loneliest person in the history of humanity, facing the ultimate challenge. And so the incredible story begins. It's one man against an entire planet. It's a total battle of wits where every single decision, every single calculation he makes is the difference between life and a very, very cold death. I mean, just look at the odds stacked against him. He is completely, totally cut off from Earth. His food supply, that's gonna run out long, long before anyone could possibly reach him. And the Martian environment itself is a killer. We're talking a thin atmosphere, lethal radiation, and just bone-chillingly cold temperatures. One tiny mistake, and it is game over. But here's the thing. Watney has one advantage that Mars doesn't: a brilliant problem-solving mind. He can't fight the planet head-on, so he has to outthink it. Faced with what looks like certain death, he makes a choice. And in his own iconic words, he's going to science the heck out of it. So let's see how this all builds. Okay, so his biggest issue, the clock that's ticking the loudest, is starvation. The mission supplies won't last forever. As a botanist, he knows his only real shot is to do something nobody has ever done before. He has to farm on Mars. He's got to make life grow where, honestly, it has no right to exist. And his solution is just pure genius. He basically converts the crew's habitat, the hab, into a makeshift greenhouse. He uses Martian soil, but that soil is sterile, it's dead, it needs nutrients. So what does he do? He uses the crew's cryo-sealed human waste as fertilizer. Yeah, it's a little gross, but it is absolutely brilliant. He plants the mission's leftover Thanksgiving potatoes, and just like that, a farm is born. Now what's so cool about this is that it shows us the literal recipe for life. Watney's got the soil, check. He has CO2 from the Martian atmosphere, check. But look at that formula. He's missing the most vital ingredient of all, and he needs tons of it to make this farm work: water. So this is where the story really pivots from botany to some seriously high-stakes chemistry. On a planet that is, for all intents and purposes, a frozen desert, if you can't find water, well, you've got to figure out how to make it. And this is probably the single most dangerous gamble he takes in the entire story. His plan is to get hydrogen from leftover rocket fuel, this incredibly volatile stuff called hydrazine, and then combine it with oxygen in a controlled burn. I mean, just think about that for a second. He is intentionally creating fire using explosive rocket fuel inside his only shelter on a planet with an unbreathable atmosphere. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the razor's edge he's walking on. One tiny spark at the wrong moment, one little miscalculation in the oxygen mix, and his entire habitat, his entire world, is gone in a fireball. It is an absolutely nail-biting sequence. Okay, so Watney's problem-solving makes for incredible cinema. But how does it actually hold up to a real scientific fact check? It's time to pull back the curtain and see where the movie took a few creative liberties, all for the sake of drama. All right, let's start with that crazy opening scene, the killer storm. Aerospace engineer Dr. Robert Zubrin points out that this is the biggest scientific stretch in the whole story. See, the Martian atmosphere is less than 1% as dense as Earth's, so even a 120 mile-per-hour wind on Mars would feel more like a light 11 mile-per-hour breeze on Earth. It wouldn't have nearly enough force to tip over a massive spacecraft, let alone send an antenna flying like a spear. And that's not even getting into the cold. The average temperature on Mars is a deadly minus 81 degrees Fahrenheit. An astronaut caught out in the open like that would be dealing with lethal cold long before they'd ever have to worry about the wind pushing them over. So what about making water? Well, while his chemistry was totally spot on, there was a much simpler solution right there beneath his feet: We now know that Martian soil, or regolith, is packed with water ice. In some places, it can be up to 60% water by weight. A real astronaut would probably just need a heater to bake the soil and condense out all the water they could ever want. Way less explosive, but maybe a little less dramatic for a movie. And here's a cool little bonus for our Martian farmer. Mars's gravity is only about 38% of what we have here on Earth. So what does that mean? Well, it would actually help his farm. The lower gravity means water wouldn't drain out of the soil nearly as fast, making his crops a lot more water efficient. So in a weird way, farming on Mars might actually be a little bit easier than the story suggests. But as the story goes on, it becomes about so much more than just one man's survival. It becomes this amazing testament to what can happen when all of humanity and a really brave crew millions of miles from home unites behind a single, simple goal: bring him home. The best example of this is the Rich Purnell maneuver. This totally insane last-ditch plan to use Earth's gravity to slingshot the Hermes ship back to Mars. It feels like pure Hollywood fiction, right? But here's the thing. It's based on the very real science of gravity assists, pioneered by a NASA analyst named Michael Menovich way back in the 60s. It's the same math that let us explore the outer solar system. And this just shows that the real heart of the story isn't fiction at all. Right now, as we speak, real scientists and engineers at NASA are tackling these exact same problems. They're testing rovers in deserts that look just like the Martian surface, they're designing habitats, and they're figuring out how to keep humans alive on another world. The challenges in the movie, they're today's real-world projects. So when the credits finally roll, what are we left with? Well, beyond just being an amazing piece of entertainment, The Martian has had a tangible, real-world impact on both science and our culture. This story connected with people so deeply that NASA actually built a web portal so you could follow Watney's fictional journey across Mars. And in this wonderful little nod from the scientific community, a newly discovered species of wild tomato was officially named Solanum watneyi. But maybe most importantly, it made millions of people look up at the night sky and get truly excited about sending humans to Mars again. And this quote from Dr. Zubrin just perfectly captures the soul of the story. It isn't just about surviving, it's this profoundly optimistic message about our own potential as a species. It's a story that says when we're faced with impossible challenges, our greatest tools will always be our intelligence and our ability to work together. So in the end, The Martian shows us that the physics, the chemistry, the engineering puzzles of going to Mars, these are problems we can actually solve. And that leaves us with a far more interesting question. If we know we can do it, what's really stopping us from taking that next giant leap?